Everybody. It's such a heartwarming experience to sit here seeing people arrive and the dedication of people's practice. So we'll sit together for 10 minutes tonight. And let's say together before we sit, we can get our voices. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. And as we sit together for 10 minutes, it's like we're all held within that vast robe. We're all sitting there in and being the robe together. There's something about taking in um, as the frames come up. I usually say the name to myself, so it's like even though I won't have met a huge number of you, you feel deeply familiar to me. Just that sense of knowing your name and what that calls up in me is it feels like a real precious offering. So I never liked it in groups when people had to wear their names on a sticky thing on their chest, but somehow here I'm deeply appreciative of seeing everybody coming and the regularity of some of that. So it feels very beautiful to me today. And over the sort of tumult that's been both internal and external for me for over the last few weeks, I've had a phrase just echoing in me. Oh, yeah, and the phrase is belonging is what we are, separation is what we do. And that sense of belonging is what we are. Belonging is an expression of how we live under the vast robe and make up the vast robe and in the vast robe. And separation is the active quality of being alive. It's like that's what we do to ourselves. Somehow we become separate from this belonging, which is what we are. And as I've been navigating the particular tumults in my own life, I've been really sorry to hear about, the misfortunes that have happened in Texas, but also, the cultural and climate things that are happening, and really aware that people will be juggling a lot. Not necessarily personal misfortune, but it's a tricky, difficult, painful times. And I was just talking with Ed before we started, and we were also both noticing the capacity for grace and delight and blessing that also kind of come with having a practice sitting on the cushion and finding ways to face the misfortunes. And I've been driving over the last few weeks. I've been driving backwards and forwards to hospitals in unfamiliar and then familiar territory. And I don't know how your nervous systems work, but I have a pretty persistent soundtrack mind. So I've been having two soundtracks running pretty concurrently. One is just the song Fragile by Sting. On and on the rain will fall like tears from a star. On and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are. So I've had that sense of my fragility, my beloved Josh's fragility, the fragility of the world, and then that's acknowledged. That song is nothing new, is it? How fragile we are. And the other is the poem by W.S. Merwin, which I'm sure many of you will know, which is called Thanks. I'll read it. Listen. With the night falling, we are saying thank you. We are stopping on the bridges to bow from the railings. We are running out of the glass rooms with our mouths full of food to look at the sky and say thank you. We are standing by the water, thanking it, standing by the windows, looking out in all directions, back from a series of hospitals, back from a mugging, after funerals. We are saying thank you. After news of the dead, whether we knew them or not, we're saying thank you. Over telephones, we're saying thank you, and in doorways and in the backs of cars and in elevators, remembering wars and the police at the door and the beatings on the stairs. We're saying thank you. In the banks were saying thank you. In the faces of the officials and the rich and of all who will never change, we go on saying thank you, thank you. With the animals dying around us, taking our feelings, we are saying thank you. With the forests falling faster than the minutes of our lives, we are saying thank you. With the words growing out like cells of a brain, with the cities growing over us, we're saying thank you. Faster and faster, with nobody listening, we're saying thank you. Thank you. We are saying and waving, dark though it is. So the soundtrack in my mind of driving backwards and forwards to hospitals in the daylight and the night and the early mornings was how fragile we are, and all those things we say thank you for, which is life just as it is. Life exactly and just as it is. And there were times, you kind of get broken open in those times, don't you, by exhaustion and needfulness and everything that's happening. I felt like I could feel all of it. The vortex of suffering and kindness and competence and the collapse that's happening in our full and overstretched and understaffed waiting rooms in the UK's health service, which is free. The blessing of that and the courage and the dedication, as well as the moral injury of the staff who want to help, but so often need to wear indifference to individuals' needs so that they can withstand the endless, unretreating tides of misery. And the human frailties of young and old as they seek help, but have to wait patiently and sometimes not so patiently for that help in the place that they've gone to get help that can then seem to not appear. And it was a beautiful and needful place to practice metta. Be sitting for hours, what are you going to do? To practice metta, read, walk around, drink, all of those things too. But, to thank a young man who was broken and in pain and who was trying so hard. He offered this elderly lady a cup of tea, even bought my tea when we were standing at the vending machine together. But he was clearly not okay, probably pretty self-medicated, and he told me and showed me pictures of the love of his life who died recently from an overdose. And he left the hospital in despair because he couldn't bear waiting any longer. And I was sort of left carrying him. Is Elliot going to be alive? Is he going to self-medicate and take an overdose as well? So those moments of encounter and touching intimacy and difficulty. And then one morning I was driving back at 3 a.m. and it was magical. I was driving through this cloud of moths. It was just so exquisite in the sort of the light that hadn't fully gone, and just moments of absolute magic. And then I was also sitting during all of this time reading of the death of the wonderful inspirational poet Andrea Gibson. Some of you may know her. A wonderful poet who spent her latter years knowing she was dying of ovarian cancer, and she walked herself so openly and generously towards her own demise. And a couple of things that she said that have stayed in me, which was knowing that I could die any day saved my life. Would that we could know that, because it's true. Knowing that I could die any day saved my life. Really understanding the brevity of this existence has given me more gratitude, awe, and joy than I thought would be possible for me in this lifetime. And then she said, towards the end, just to be clear, I don't want to get out without a broken heart. I don't want to get out without a broken heart. I intend to leave this life so shattered, there's going to have to be 1,000 separate heavens for all of my flying parts. She talked of leaving life with stretch marks on her heart. And for me, that's kind of really sums up what's being asked of all of us right now, to give birth to love. We need those stretch marks. We need to be able to fully open to the pain and the glorious mystery of our lives, and knowing we won't be able to hold it all. And in fact, it's the not holding it all which leads us towards connection and kindness. And if we can find a way to not permanently close down in fear or despair or cynicism, if we can find ways to keep flowing into openness, and then when necessary, take our little breaks and then step back out into the world with an open heart. One of the more late nights, early mornings, I was driving around an unfamiliar city looking for a hotel where I could just catch a few hours sleep, and I'd left Josh in his hospital bed, and I approached a traffic lights on red, and so this is in the middle of a city, and I looked over, and to my absolute amazement, on my left was an enormous stag, just sitting regally on the grass verge. I mean, I stopped at the red lights, and I looked at the stag, and the stag looked at me, and I thought, I'm pretty sure I'm not hallucinating. I'm pretty sure this is real. And it was just looking so at home and so at ease in its surroundings. And I really took heart. It felt like I can find rest even in this place. And the poem that I'd written for Josh as his Benji at the completion ceremony, the opening lines are, "Still, the waters run deep, the stag patiently waits, perhaps a lifetime, this lifetime, steadfast as he watches, studies this floating world." So here was this stag just sitting there, and I was in a place where I saw it. So there was a sort of immense amount of peace and joy in that moment. Josh in the hospital, the stag beside the road, and my search for refuge. And there was a feeling there's nothing that doesn't belong. Belonging is what we are. So I have that sense of, often when we're caught in life's rip tides, something in that stretched, open, overwhelmed, breaking heart is what can really connect us to life as it is. That feeling is indeed life as it is. And there's a practice which I've sometimes offered in Hakomi groups, which is based, as far as I can understand it, on an African Zulu practice. And when I initially learned this, it's Soabona, Soabona, and it's an African greeting, and I originally learned it as, I see you, and by seeing you, I bring you into being. I see you, and by seeing you, I bring you into being. And then recently I heard it again, and it was, we see you. We, me and all the ancestors, see you and all your ancestors. We see your history. We see you. And I loved that. That sense of, like, when we do some of the prayers, we move from I to we to the world, and it's like, oh yeah, it's not just I see you, it's we see you. And the greeting is an invocation spoken in two parts, and the first is Sikona, Sikona, which means we are here to be seen. We're here to be seen. And the other part is Soabona, we see you. Can we see, when we sit here and we look in our little tiles at people we may never meet in physical life, can we see the whole of the person, and the way that they are, the way they inhabit their world, and which is emerged from all of the causes and conditions throughout time, not just from the moment of your birth, the whole lot. And I love this idea that when we fully acknowledge another person, we bring them into being as themselves. It opens a space for us to be recognized as who we are. And I think of this very much as a kind of inner and outer practice. You know, I can offer that to the people I see in my life. You know, we see you. So bona. But can we do that on our cushion? You know, can we do that in our sitting practice? Can we look at ourselves and say, we see you. We see all the causes and conditions that got you here. And can you say, I'm here to be seen? I'm willing. I'm going to try. I'm going to at least try to be here and be seen. To bring the world into being. We're all bringing the world into being. And belonging is what we are. And it was the last Hakomi residential that I was teaching on after nearly 10 years. And I was navigating the hospitals and, managing all sorts of things going on. I also felt really present and kind of joyous because they're a fabulous group of people. And so we were doing the thing you do, sitting in the circle and checking in. And someone said to me, I'll miss you. And I heard myself say, I'm here to be missed. I'm here to be missed. And we all laughed. I laughed. And then I cried. Because suddenly the realness of that is, and I said, the greatest risk I've taken in sitting in this seat of a trainer, teacher, is the risk of being loved. That's been the biggest risk of all for me, is the risk of being loved. And you've offered me that, and I felt loved. And I know I'll be missed. I know I'll be missed. And my task in this is to take care of all the parts of me that are shy about that or dismissing or, my lovely avoidant attachment bits, whatever is like, that's my task is to manage that and to really be open to receiving the love and care, which honestly couldn't have been more abundant in these rather strange circumstances. We are here to be seen. Belonging is what we are. And then I heard the wonderful rich tones of Peter Coyote reading from the new book of Suzuki Roshi's teachings. And he said, sharing the feeling we have right here, right now, is the fundamental basic thing for Zen practice. Zen is, in one word, to share our feeling with people, with trees and with mountains. Wherever we are, that is Zen practice. The fundamental basic practice is to share our feelings with people and trees and mountains. And I'm pretty sure he's not talking about kind of like sharing, like saying to the world, this is what I am. It's like we are sharing this experience together. We are all part of this experience. We share the experience. And we share it with each other, and we share it with the trees and with the mountains, with the people we're not talking to, and with the people we don't know, with the people we do. It's to participate, it's to really participate with the whole of life, with the air and the planet that we stand on. We share history and time. Nothing belongs to one person. We are belonging, and nothing belongs to one person. Belonging is what we are, and separation is what we do. And whenever we stop doing whatever that is, or the multiple things that is, then belonging is what we are. And I think about this and a passage from Louise Erdrich's novel, The Painted Drum. Life will break you. Nobody can protect you from that, and living alone won't either, for solitude will also break you with its yearning. You have to love. You have to feel. It's the reason you're here on earth. You are here to risk your heart. You are here to be swallowed up. And when that happens, you are broken or betrayed or left hurt or death brushes near. Let yourself sit by an apple tree and listen to the apples falling around you in heaps, wasting their sweetness. And tell yourself you tasted as many as you could. And the stretch marks on our heart are testament to how much we've shared. Also, just recently, the wonderful and powerful and tender Bodhisattva Joanna Macy dropped her body. Hers was a long life, gloriously lived, such purpose. And it's reported that she said this as she was moving towards completion. Her breath in just a whisper, Macy suggested to a visitor, let's look out on these beautiful redwood trees. They feel as though they are hugging me from both sides. She rallied then and undaunted carried on. The world is spacious and alive now and even sacred. I am so grateful to be here and to be of service. The present moment, brief as it is our gift, our choice point. The world is spacious and alive now and even sacred. I am so grateful to be here and to be of service. The present moment, brief as it is our gift, our choice point. So I'm here, I really love to meet with people who maybe are at choice points and wanting support or encouragement or just connection. It would be lovely to meet with anybody who would like to meet. And as Flint always says, it's also good to sit together. Hello, lovely Sophie.
Hello, Trudy. What a powerful thing you just said. I couldn't let you alone on that one. I had to come and I didn't want to miss you, for sure.
Don't miss me.
I didn't know about Joanna Macy.
Mm.
I cherish the moments where we belong together. I remember a cow I was looking after. She got really sick. She must have eaten some mushroom or something, and she was really dizzy and she was really suffering. She was grinding her teeth and banging her head against the wall and walking through her pain. And she was trying to come and see me because I was there, and Denise was there too, and our eyes met, like yours met the deer. And that's a wonderful space to be in.
And to be available, to be met. Mm.
I keep the we belong. That's what we are.
Yeah. Longing is what
Separate is what we do.
we. Thank you for coming. Mm. Joel.
Trudy, thank you for this wonderful talk. And please allow me just to say how much I care for you and Josh. And I'd heard a little bit about Josh's situation, but didn't know much. And I'm delighted to see him on screen today. That was a great pleasure. I've got a jumble of thoughts in response to some of the things you said. So wonderful about the fragility, that wonderful Merwin poem. Thank you. Um, and and the stag in the middle of a city, sitting there. And I'm just reminded of an experience that I have over and over again. That most of the time, my whatever I'm looking at it through glasses that make it impossible for me to see anything that's not of immediate use to me. Like if I'm sitting at a traffic light, I'm watching the light, I'm looking at the map to see what direction I can turn in and whether or not there's traffic coming and all that. But what I find is to the extent that I have the capacity to ask that kind of instrumentalizing part of my brain to quiet down for a second, I realize uh, with a kind of sense of awe the history and the completeness of everything around me. And that sounds like a step back and a separation, but in fact, it's a move toward, which, like I say, this experience comes to me. I don't have the experience. The experience comes to me often, and it seems like, I mean, it's something that I'm grateful that I've spent some time sitting so that I can recognize it.
Absolutely. And I was thinking that, you know, that belonging is what we are and separation is what we do. And when you stop doing the thing that separates you,
Mm-hmm.
and what you experience is
Mm-hmm.
the kind of natural embeddedness of you in the world.
I, I, Thank you. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this was because of that point that you just made and that you began with, that I've always thought of myself as kind of stepping back from the world to recognize it and, and enforcing a separation. But in fact, it's not. It's simply letting the habitual separation quiet down a bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aren't we blessed to have had this time on the cushion to know that? I
Mm-hmm.
only know it through practice, that's why it's important to me. But
Have you
thank you.
ever been to the coffee shop in Rome, right near the Pantheon, called Sant'Eustachio? Do you know the
No,
legend of Saint Eustace, a, a, uh, a renamed Roman officer who converts to Christianity after seeing a stag in the forest with a cross in its horns or in its antlers? Uh, so this is
no.
the stags all around, all over the world.
Great messenger beasts. Thank you. Hmm. There you go. Hi, Lynn. Yep.
I kind of lost everything for a moment.
How lovely.
It all disappeared. Hmm. My heart is very full. Gosh. I do love you. You give so much of yourself so warmly, and as you know, I've been also sitting in hospital waiting rooms. So kind of, it's like, and I was so touched by, that recognition of what can I practice here? What's the practice now?
Yeah.
How can I be with what's here? And I was really touched by when we were waiting for Peter to have his operation the first time, and then had to come home. There was another gentleman there with his wife, and I was really caught by how good we are at distracting ourselves from what's really happening. I was watching them both playing a sort of dance together, and it was clear from what was said that it was really, really dangerous, the operation that he was going to have. Yeah. And it was very unlikely that he would actually survive. And I walked back to the car park with his wife, and I just said to her, "This is really hard, isn't it?"
Yeah.
And of course, it's that touching. You never know, do you? Should you touch what's really happening? What's really happening here is a person you've lived with and loved for so long is in a place where you may not see them again.
Yeah.
And so we sat together in the foyer of the hospital for a moment or two, and I just touched her hand, and we just sat. We didn't say very much. And it's that the practice is to meet the rawness of everything.
Absolutely. And to offer her that when, I imagine that wasn't easily on offer, just to be able to know this might be the last time you walk out of the hospital as a couple.
Mm.
It's huge.
And that's always how it is.
Absolutely. Yep. So your heart is covered in stretch marks, I know, Lynn.
As is yours. Thank you. Thank you for being you and for offering so much. And I'm so delighted Josh is here.
Me too. With a smile. Mary. Oh, you're still muted. Ah, there you are.
Yes. Trudy, just lovely. I felt just this tender kind of choking. It's delightful as you were talking to see Josh. And something that really resonated with me was when you said the greatest risk I take is the risk of being loved. And I realize for myself what a challenge that is, and how, I was just even thinking here of like, how we are made is a coming together of, the basic sperm and egg of creation of separate parts, but it's life force. And then like recreating the womb. I'm a twin, so I'm this sense of belonging is, and I'm very, very close. All right. But I even remember in my body that separation of when she was born and I was left in the womb and my mom's heart stopped. And so these things of this sense of belonging, and the parts of me that are so terrified of that separation, and yet that I create that so I don't have to experience that pain. And so when you said that, I mean, it just, there's pain there. And, um, and it seems really, and even talking about it right now, it just feels really scary. And in the womb of this context, to be able to talk about, as you say, sharing the feeling of what was evoked by your talk, and it's beautiful. But being able to name that it feels scary, and yet it is the greatest desire, and for you to name that is what we are.
And I'm really touched because I can feel it's like it's moving through you, and the fear is there, and the longing is there, and the courage is there,
Mhm.
and it's like that's what you're really kind of sitting with here is like, I really want this, and it's probably the most scary thing. And when we can kind of know, we don't have to work for it, it is what we are.
Okay, yeah, it's that knowing
Yeah.
that is what we are.
Thank you. Thank you. Mm. I have Mary.
Maybe
Yeah,
weird thing here.
you're here. I can see you and hear you.
Yeah, there was a thing, but I've pressed something. It's all right, I think. Yeah, I was thinking about what you said about what what Andrew Gibson said about stretch marks, the heart on the heart.
Mm.
And then Lynn was talking about that woman, and in a way the two of them didn't know.
No.
And you didn't know when Josh was in hospital. Probably wasn't life threatening, but you didn't know.
Yeah. And our lives are always threatened and we don't know. It's like, this is the place all of us sit, isn't it? It's how fragile we are
Yeah.
and how amazingly stretchy our hearts are to give birth to love.
Yeah. And I know that it's all right. I know that I'm all right, even though Trisha died. That my life has gone on and that I'm okay. And yet, it doesn't make it any easier thinking of anyone else I love dying.
No. Good?
I think so. I think that's how it should be.
Yeah, it would be a shame, wouldn't it, if your loss inured you to other loss. Your loss tells you how tender it is to have someone in your life
Yeah.
and the effort it takes to be all right.
Well, and to keep loving,
Yeah.
to keep opening your heart, knowing that you will lose
Absolutely.
over and over again.
Yep. So we just need to make sure we do it together, don't we?
Knowing that you can't spare other people that loss or the pain of their vulnerability. And all we can do is be alongside each other.
Yeah. Well, I've got that word courage in my head again because it feels like that's what we call up in each other is the courage to face this absolute truth. And we will lose things and people we love.
Yeah.
And to be in a community of people who are prepared to sit with us while that happens. And I was thinking about that thing that Flint said, is like practice doesn't offer comfort, but it makes things doable.
It doesn't take away the pain of it all, but it means you can be with it.
Yeah.
And you can be with others when they're experiencing it.
Yeah.
I'm here with you.
No, I'm here. I see you. Mm. Hi, Cassie.
There. Hi, Trudy. I guess I will tattoo belonging is what we are and separation is what we do. Tattoo that right on my heart. Um, and I want to offer Mary the biggest bear hug from Texas. Imagine that if you can. And to Sophie, the holding of space when the intellectualizing of words cannot connect in the way that just being present does. Andrea and to Joshi, oh my God. And to everyone here, oh my God. Um, you're precious to me.
Yeah.
Um, and Andrea Gibson, someone never met who is in my soul.
Yeah.
And to be so affected by their passing, it and to see the outpouring of the world for her passing. Oh. So one of the things that came into my feed today from her was, I'd cut my soul into a million different pieces just to form a constellation to light your way home.
Mm.
I love you.
Love you too, Cass.
Thank you.
I think we all do that, aren't we? It's like we're all finding ways to light our way home for each other and ourselves. So, hi, Denise.
Hi, Trudy. I looked at the watch and we don't have many minutes. But I just want to tell you that you're offering fragility, the words you choose, by offering your fragility and Josh's fragility and our fragility. I felt that my heart grew bigger through listening to you. And there is such a lot, you mentioned the poem Thank You. And I say thank you to you. And thank you to Josh. And thank you to all of you who are here. And Casey, it was, I believe you when you said, I already forgot the word, but that we are, I don't remember the words, but you said it. And usually I have, no, it's not. But it really went right into my heart. And it became, during listening to you, it became so physically feelable, the separation, something I know how to do and I grew up with. And it gives me a certain, stand. I stand separate from you, and suddenly let go of this. It's like the glaciers melting, in a way. It's like, and then I don't know what happens.
We don't. We don't.
Yes. So trusting, in a way.
Absolutely.
And help each other to trust.
Absolutely. And we know how to do that other stuff. Here's the whole thing. What happens? What happens when we belong?
Mm.
Not trying.
We have one more person,
I
Genevieve.
saw Genevieve was waiting. We could say hello, Genevieve. We might not be able to say much more, but let's say hello.
There you go.
There you go. Oh, you switched it back on. You've just remuted yourself.
It asked me twice, so well, I wish we had more than a breath, but I love you so much. Thank you so much.
And to take a breath to say I love you too.
We are here to be loved.
We're here to be loved. We're here to be seen. We're here to be missed. We're here to be loved. Thank you. Thank you for coming here. So we can end with the 4 practice principles and just thank you all. The The MS MERWIN poem is a lovely one to keep adding your own thank yous to. So thank you for all of you, everyone who's here. Thank you for Zoom. Thank you for time zones. Thank you for presence and practice. Caught in the self-centered dream, there is only suffering. Holding to self-centered thoughts is exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, this life. The only teacher, being just this moment with each other, compassion's way. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering. Holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher. Being just this moment, compassion's way. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. I can't even remember it now. You say it for yourselves. But we're here. Let's not be caught. Thank you all. I'll leave it to Ed doing his marvellous job of holding this space and offering the room. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Trudy. A very, very, very rich meal for us today. There was a request if you could name the poems that you used today, and perhaps whoever does the editing can just include that list when they post it.
Send them to Cassie, that's fine.
Yeah, there you go. That would be great. And just want to remind everyone who's still here that Appamada's functioning and programs are based on your contributions, and you can contribute at appamada.org/contribute. And you can also do that for Appamada as well as the teacher themselves. And we still have a few minutes left, so if anybody wants to stay and continue, just put yourself in gallery view, stay where you are, and we will continue to bask in this wonderful light. Thank you, Trudy. Love you dearly.